don't tell people this a lot, but when I was 6 years old, my mom, we had picture day. She didn't do my hair. She didn't get me pretty. Sent me to school looking a hot mess.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing I see the lack of in the aesthetic world is the mindset to go out. They think it's a one magical pill that's going to do all of the work.
So from the age of 6 all the way until I was about maybe 29, I thought I was an ugly girl.
I want to welcome you to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we take different aesthetic professional, med spa owners, and allow them to share their stories so they can inspire you to keep on going, keep on thriving, and keep on serving. And today's guest, we got Tanya. Tell us what it is that you do to change the world so special.
Thank you for asking. So what I do, I actually teach and educate people more than I actually serve them. So that's how I stand out. Plus, I'm an instructor, so it just come natural.
Break that down. What that means?
What mean?
I teach people. What do you teach them?
So I teach them how to take care of their skin. I teach them little holistic things, like natural stuff that they could do on their own, things they wouldn't even think they knew how to do. I help them. And I actually help people feel better about themselves and just love their skin more.
So your clients, they enjoy you teaching them so they can know how to keep going or handle it?
Yes.
What made you take more of that teaching approach versus just doing approach?
Well, to be honest with you, I started out as a teacher. I used to teach pre-K. At one point, I wanted my own daycare. At one point, I did wanted to go to school to be an educator, but I didn't like the school system. So I kind of put the two together, me being an educator and then being a skincare specialist. I just tie them two and it just come natural.
So if you was going to be the pre-K teacher, what in the education system that you like, nah, this ain't for me? Like, what was it? Was it something particular?
Well, where I'm from, it had to do a lot with the money. The way the school system is, I'm the person, I don't like to teach by the books.
Yes.
So I homeschooled one of my children for 1 year. So I'm like, I teach different. I teach basics. I teach people what they need to know, learn from the beginning stages up. So I don't like to cut corners. In the school system, you got to cut corners. It's all about testing. Yes. You can't really learn their gifts because we all have natural gifts in us, but can't do that in the school system.
So doing at-home teaching and running a business, how did you balance that?
Well, honestly, I started homeschooling my daughter when she was 5. She's now 26 now. Yes. So that was a long time ago. Running a business, it's getting easier now because I kind of like know exactly what I want to do. I found my niche. It took a long time, but I found my niche and I like to educate more than actually doing the services.
Because you got over 20 years of experience.
Exactly.
Like, how was that for you? 20 years ago, this industry wasn't like it is today.
So when I say 20 years experience, 20 years exactly in making products. So I used to make products in my 20s. I'm now in my 40s. Yes. So when I was making the products, I was only doing it for myself, selfish, because I had eczema. So I make stuff for my skin. I still do that to this day. But I didn't know back then how it's so easy now to sell products and all of this. I could have been selling products, but didn't know.
I love that. And I know you was just whipping it up. Your self-esteem was low.
Very.
But you was whipping it up. And what made your self-esteem low?
So I don't tell people this a lot, but when I was 6 years old, my mom, we had picture day. She didn't do my hair. She didn't get me pretty. Sent me to school looking a hot mess. And then she actually ordered those pictures. They sent them to the house. I got them. I saw them. And at that point, I said, I look ugly. I never said it out loud. I never said it to her. I said it within myself. So from the age of 6 all the way until I was about maybe 29, I thought I was an ugly girl. Until somebody who saw me at the bar, because I used to bartend. So when I used to bartend, I used to wear glasses. But at night, I would put my contacts on. And so the guy who saw me in the daytime, when they saw me at night, they'd be like, Tanya, that's you? Damn, you pretty. That's where it came from. And then I started looking in the mirror and staring at myself. And I'm like, I am pretty. But it took a long time. I didn't hear my mother say it. Yes, I didn't hear my mother. She never said I was pretty. Nobody in my family called me pretty. All I heard, I was bad. I was bad. So it's like I just developed self-esteem from an early age, low self-esteem. And here I am. I'm so pretty. Okay.
And so even though somebody else told you was pretty, what made you realize that I am beautiful?
When I just started just loving myself more, taking better care of myself, doing my hair, getting my nails done, dressing different, just loving me, you know? I had to love myself within first to actually see my beauty.
I love that. And for your daughter, I know that you let her know she's beautiful.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Because for 23 years, I know that probably could have been hunting. Like
it was.
Right?
It was.
And I understand from a different perspective, like when I was in 4th grade, I mixed up the word steam and stream. And my mother said, "What are you, dumb?" And so from 4th grade all the way to 2019, I did not read. I ran away when it was reading time in school. When you got to read, I did not read. I always told myself I couldn't read because of my mother telling me that in 4th grade.
Yeah,
it hurted me. And so it's like I done went through middle school, high school, college, everything without reading because of that moment. And we was grown and said sticks and stones could break our bones, but words will never hurt. That is a lie.
That is a lie.
Words can tear us down or build us up.
Yes.
And so for you, your mother doing that tore you down for 23 years. And the whole time you was beautiful.
I was beautiful the whole time. I was beautiful. And then, you know, I used to get fun of too because I had glasses. So they used to call me Steve Urkel. So I fought a lot. As soon as somebody called me Steve Urkel, it was on. I didn't look like the type because I was very quiet. I was skinny. I was short. But that really hurt me. The fun making, and my dad used to always say, sticks and stones could break your bones, but words can never hurt. Whatever. And I used to say that to myself, starting to believe it, but no, it's not true.
I look at it like sometimes we allow kids being kids moments defined us as adults. So when we was kids, them kids didn't know what they was talking about. They didn't know no better.
They didn't.
But we took it in and we lived with that for life.
Forever, for a long time.
And if we look at it, it hindered most of our progression.
True.
Because we was like, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Maybe you didn't want to create content because you didn't want people to talk about you wearing your glasses. That's why in the daytime you wear glasses, at night you wore contacts. And at the end of the day, we gotta like let that old us go. Let that old us die so we can make room for the new us so we can get out and serve the people. And so when it comes to content creating, I'm really big on that. I'm like, yo, whatever happened when you was younger, let it go.
Let it go.
You are in control today. First of all, you probably don't even know what them kids at in life. And they might not even be where they supposed to be at in life.
That's right.
Or they might be doing what they supposed to be doing. But I bet you if you was to see them today, they will apologize for what they did because they didn't know no better.
They didn't know.
You know, and I think that's a big thing. And so I just want to commend you on that and for making sure that your daughter don't have to go through what you went through.
No.
And I'm pretty sure your mom bought the picture. You probably didn't even think twice. Like, because I remember I lined myself up and my mama actually still got the pictures in her still to this day. And my lining is just like, whoop, bam, up there somewhere. I was attempting to line myself up. My mom didn't have the resources to go to the barber shop. She didn't have the resources to get me new clothes. She didn't have none of that.
So you had to do what you had to do.
And so I did it, but I still to this day, I ain't touched my lining. I don't touch that stuff, no. I learned my lesson because I still look at it. So when you said I wasn't going to be a preschool teacher, but I'm going to start my business, what gave you the courage to actually start the business?
I think it was when I got my first facial. I was 36 years old. But before then, I was always doing aesthetics. I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the name of it. So short story, my ex-husband, he was my first model. When he used to go to sleep and every Saturday was my hobby. I would extract his face. I would line up his little mustache for him. And when he woke up, he would be like, oh, this look nice, but he would be swollen. And so he said to me, you need to go get paid doing this. And I said, get paid to do what? Because I didn't know what's the name. So anywho, I think the year later, one of my friends, she had a vision party. And we had a vision party at a spa. And so while the lady was talking and saying what she was doing, the esthetician, and I'm sitting over there, I'm like, that sounds like what I'm doing at home. So then I booked an appointment with her. started being nosy, asking questions. So what school did you go to? What's the name of what you do? What kind of products you do? How long was school? And she told me about my skin. I didn't believe her. She said my skin, I had adult acne. I was like, what is that? I was like, I don't have no adult acne. I have great skin because I got a regimen. Right? So she was like, well, tell me, run your regimen down.
Yeah.
So I ran it down. She was like, it's cute, but you're doing too much. And I started developing like little stuff on my face, like spots and all these little bumps around my face or whatever. And I left out of there in love with skin. And I went to school that same year. And that's it. All she wrote. And that's been going ever since 2017.
Ooh. And it's just like, but I think the biggest thing is like you had somebody plant a seed into you, and you're like, okay, let me go to school. I really want to know more. But your obsession to learn more is what pushed you to keep going. So tell me, like, what was your first suite? Like, was it a suite? Was it a big building? Like, tell me what that start was for you.
So my start, I was traveling in people's house.
Yes. Like
for
concierge.
$35.
Yes.
My first 3 clients was $35, and I was going to their house, and I was like, okay, $35 is a lot of what I'm doing. So I think I did that for a year. I was traveling, and then it was too much, bring everything. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, I started, joined up with this lady who was doing yoga, and I would do facials at the beach.
Yeah.
So it was like that. And then I, found a spot out of somebody else's, rented a space, and I was working there. No, before then I was at my house.
Yes.
In the living room. And my mother was like, you got all these people working through my house. I wanted her to see me.
Yes.
And then after that, I moved out my house on purpose. So my room that I moved out from, I turned my room into a spa in her house. She told me I could because she got tired of people in and out her living room. And then plus she was like, oh, these people are continuing. They were the same clients over and over. So she was like, oh, okay, well, you can have the back room. But before I got in the back room, I prayed over that room and said, this is going to be my spa room. Yes. And so I was back there in my room for 2 years. And then after that, I had a guy came, and I overheard him on the phone, like when he was asking for directions. He didn't hang up the phone, and he was like, I'm pulling up at a house. And I was like, Lord, this is it. I got to get out this house, because the way I present myself, it looked like I had the big salon suite or a nice building, and I didn't, but that's what I wanted. So then after he said, I was like, man, I got to get out of this back room, right? Yes. So I had an opportunity to go into somebody's suite and rent out their room, and I stayed there for maybe a year, and I was like, no, I got to go. I don't want to be here no more. I want my own. So now I have my own space. Yes. My own, like, in a building, but my own room. I love it. So next thing is next, bigger and better.
But I think the biggest thing that I love is that you started and you didn't make no excuses. I don't care if it was a concierge, if it was the living room, whatever it was, it didn't matter because you got started. Yes. And sometimes we get so comfortable and we need something to happen to push us to the next level. So if you did not hear that guy, you probably would have still been
in the back
room. I'm just being honest.
No, it's true.
So it's like I take everything as planting a seed for your growth. Yes. And so it's like, but it's people out there that make excuses. Well, I don't got a suite. My suite too small. This and that. I'm not getting no clients. I'm not making no sales. I want to give up.
Or I don't have a website. Yeah. Or I don't have a logo. Yeah. I didn't have a logo. Yes. All I had was a name, a raggedy business card from Staples. It wasn't even decorated. And that's it. Yeah. I didn't have a lot of stuff. I didn't have no website.
But your trap was booming, it sounded like.
It was booming, okay? The door was knocking down.
Yes.
But I think it's all how I presented myself too.
So when did you start creating content for people to start seeing your business?
I would say it was my daughter.
Yes.
So at that time, my daughter's 22 now. At that time, she was 16.
Yes.
And her face was a hot mess. It was a certain product she was using. Everybody was raving over. It was like some charcoal stuff. And I went to go use it one day. And I said, you put this on your face every day? My face is burning, tingling. I said, come on. come to my table. She was like, you don't know what you're doing. That's what she said to me. I did her face. I post that picture, and it was on. A lot of people started ringing my phone. It's like, oh, is this your daughter? Who did her face? Oh my God, her face. Look, I said, I did that. They're like, well, I want one. And so it went from there. So that one picture from 2018, it was just that one picture. And when I look at it, I still have it till today.
Yes.
And when I look at it, I'd be like, you know, you could tell it's old the way the picture was taken in the coloring, but that's what I use.
So that was your first experience of the power of content.
Yes.
So tell me what your content regimen is now.
So right now I try to post something every day. Sometimes motivation. I post myself a lot because I want people to see like my skin, my natural skin. I don't post too much before and after because I just don't be remembering. I like to post like skin tips for, tips and stuff like that, little regimens, lifestyle, and just reviews, reviews. I love to post my reviews. Yeah.
So tell me this. I want to know what your process is when you put out a piece of content and somebody reach out and say they want your service. Like, what is that process like? Walk me through the customer journey.
Okay. So I remember I posted this funny post and I was like, I don't know if it's going to do, and it went real good. Yeah. And so people started DMing me. They started calling me. So one day I was like, well, a lot of people liked it. I went in their inbox and I said, thank you for liking my post, and I'll send them my website, right? Or I'll call them if I have their number. Or I send them to my email and stuff like that. Let me know if you want a facial. Here's the information, stuff like that. So.
And how does that work out for you?
It worked pretty good.
Okay.
It worked pretty good.
So are you running any ads? Are you doing anything like that?
I was running ads, but I'm a little funny. I'm not too good with that, but I want to get
you
better.
Was doing it yourself?
I was doing it myself. Yeah, I was doing it myself.
Why you didn't delegate it?
I'm not sure. Just I don't know.
And when you say running ads, that means you just boost posts,
right?
That's what you was doing. You was hitting boost. That ain't running ads.
I know it ain't given. It's not where I want it to be. So I've done a couple of Facebook ads before, but I just didn't keep up with it. Just didn't.
How much you was spending a day?
Back then, probably $5.
Whew. Okay. No, I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know. Okay. So right now in your business, like, what are you doing to make a difference in your community?
So I teach a lot in the community. Just the other day, I just did a class with seniors. So I'm trying to get contracts with the community, like the cities that I live in and stuff like that. I go to schools. So I call myself the community esthetician because that's what I do. I'm outside the walls, not inside the walls. So, like, I know a lot of aesthetic professionals, they are scared to go do guerrilla marketing. They are scared to do marketing. They are scared to get in the streets. They sit in the office and wait for somebody to come knock on their door, but not you. No.
Where you get that from, that hustle from?
My grandmother. My grandmother was a florist for 30 years. So I remember her waking me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, even though I did not want to get up. I had to get up. I had to go to pick up the flowers. I had to trim the leaves and put them in the oasis and put them in the water. So just watching her do her business. And I'm surprised I'm not into flowers. Yes. But hey, I'm into something else. I'm still using my hand. So my grandmother, I watched her a lot. I was by her side a lot too. So
that's big too, because most of us didn't have entrepreneurs in our family. And for you to have a grandma, first of all, to be an entrepreneur, and you get to see it ahead of time. That's probably why that decision to not be a pre-K teacher, to be an entrepreneur, probably really stimulated from that grandma. Because you watched that. And I think that's dope and that's amazing.
Thank you.
Do your daughter, does she want to be an entrepreneur or anything like that?
Well, my daughter is. All my kids are. My oldest one, she was doing the same thing I was doing in aesthetics, but she now wants to do business management now. My middle daughter, she's a baker. She bakes from scratch. And then my young baby, she's still trying to decide if she want to do hair. I know she loves making products and stuff like that. So she was making bracelets at one time. So they all have that entrepreneur spirit in them. They just got to find what they want to do. And when they do, they're just going to fly.
I love that because that meant you passed it down.
Yes.
That meant you instilled that in them. You instilled the values of entrepreneurship, about making a difference, having a decision, and being able to stick to it. And of course, when you learning and you pivoting and you doing it, entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I don't care if you be an esthetician over here, then be a business manager, then do this. You're still an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you are.
You're just seeing which one best works for you. And I think the blessing is that every one of the tools that you learned prior to is still usable to the new thing.
Yes.
And so all it does is stack on top of each other. So now they can go out and expand because they got the tools.
Yes.
And I love that. I want you to say, what is your superpower and why?
My superpower is I bring the energy. I bring the energy in the room. All my friends, they love when I'm around. They love when I come because I'm just like an energized bunny. I'm my own hype girl. I don't need a crowd. That's just me. Call me sunshine.
Yes. I love that. And why, like, have you always been like high energy?
I think so, yeah.
Me too. I've been like that since I came out of my mama.
Always.
I say, they always brainwash us. Oh, the loudest person in the room is the slowest. No, the loudest person in the room, the loudest is meaning being remembered. Yes. So the loudest person in the room is the most remembered. The quietest person in the room, nobody even knew you was in the room.
Exactly.
Now, I ain't saying be in the room acting ghetto, but being in the room and asking questions, being in the room giving value, being in the room and speaking up while you're in the room will make people remember you.
Yes.
Right? I think that's really, really big. Why was it important for you to get on a flight, fly here, and be on this show?
Listen, all opportunity. I'm not passing up no opportunity no more because, you got to get out your city.
Yeah.
They say, it's a saying, they said, a man is not respected in his own home. Right? So when I think of that, it's like I'm home, but I ain't nothing popping.
Yeah.
There's no this is a nice podcast that you have, aesthetic show. I like that. Yeah. There's nobody doing that where I'm at. So guess what? I got to get from where I'm at to come to the show. I got to go where the people at. I got to go where I'm going to be seen at.
Yes. And you could have made any excuses. But
I didn't.
I love that. And I know you was in business 4 years before you got your first coach. Why was it important for you to get a coach?
Man. A coach is needed because although I started my business on my own, I didn't go to business school. It's a lot of steps that I miss. It's a lot of broken pieces, right? So me getting a coach now, it mend them together. Now I understand back then what target audience mean and all of this. What is that? So having a coach is very important, especially if you want to excel. I mean, because my goal is to make 8 figures. How am I going to make that if I'm not with a coach? My coach need to have made that already. So if I don't have a coach and I want to make something, who going to teach me? I can't look at my mama. I can't look at my family because none of them ain't made no 6 figures. So I got to get a coach to guide me, to lead me, to give me strategies, to help me with my marketing, to educate me for the next level. I want to grow. I can't grow by myself.
I love that. And I look at coaches and mentors as needed, but I also look at the person being coachable as more important, right? Because you can get the value, you can get the instructions, but you got to be able to use the instructions. I think that's the biggest thing I see the lack of in the aesthetic world is the mindset to go out. They think it's one magical pill that's going to do all of the work.
You said the right word, that mindset. That mindset will have you stuck. And I said that the other day. I think I posted and I said, your mindset will make you or break you. And I think back then my mindset was not in a good place until I got my coach. Then my mindset started to elevate. I started to look at things differently. My eyes became open more. I wanted more. I wanted better. I didn't want to settle anymore. There's certain things I'm not doing anymore. Certain events I'm not going to. If there's no value, like I learned that word from you, watching you, value, got to give value. If there's no value, I don't want to be a part of it.
I love it. I remember at one point I had 13 coaches.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money too. Like I was spending a lot of money. But then I realized something. I realized when I went to each coach, I went to them for one thing.
Okay.
But maybe that one thing cost me $50,000. Maybe it
Mhm.
cost me $30,000. Maybe it cost me $25,000. I remember one year I spent $194,000 in 1 year on personal development. But every coach I ever had, they had one thing that I wanted. That's it. So now I don't do so much 12-month coaching. I buy about an hour.
Got it.
So any coach that's doing something or any person that's doing something that I love, I ask them how much for 1 hour of their time. And I just pay for that 1 hour because I be having one question.
Just one question.
Yeah, I remember.
Right.
I remember when I was doing my events, it was a guy. His program cost $30,000, but he always had 1,000 people at his event, and I wanted to know how did he have that, and so I paid for
to find
that.
out.
Yeah, but I could have just paid him for an hour. It's time, and I could have found out quicker.
Got it. Yeah.
I remember another guy, he had 5,000 people at his events, but the psychology of how he threw the events, I wanted to know.
You want to learn that.
Cost me $30,000.
Hey, you got to pay to play.
100%. But now that I'm aware, I don't have that time to spend on getting coaches, but I buy the relationships. And but I think anybody who's scaling and growing needs somebody to help them.
Yes.
But make sure it's the right people, because I also had coaches that brainwashed me to think more about the money than the people.
Yeah.
And that is something I had to take control of. And so when people do get coached and they do get mentored, make sure it's somebody that have value and integrity and want to make a difference, because you'll make the money.
Yep.
You'll make the money as long as you put in the work. And any dollar that you invest into your business, you will always get it back on the back end. If you don't front you, nobody else will front you.
I like that.
Right. And so it's like,
true.
That's how I look at it. So anything I do, I go with quality first. I don't cut costs because of price. If I'm like, oh, okay, I need this. Oh, let's go all in. I'm gonna make it back later.
Yep.
And that's how I look at things. And so I'm talking to all the aesthetic professionals, mindset, invest, keep going. Like if you invest in marketing, if you invest in content, whatever you invest in, understand it's a compound interest. You might not make your money back tomorrow because that ain't how it works. I don't know who told you that. Like I don't know. I don't know nothing. Not real estate, you can't do that. Not stocks, you can't do that. Why do you think content you can make your money back tomorrow?
I don't know. Who told them that?
I don't know. And so it's like we have to come in, we have to educate them to let them know, like, it's gonna take time. Yes. You started in 2017, right? You're here still today. What was your biggest year? You don't gotta say the exact number. You can say what figure, or you can say the exact number. Matter of fact, no. What was your first year in business? What did you do?
First year in business? I'm embarrassed to say. Maybe $2,500.
$2,500 for
the first year, yeah.
First 12 months.
Yes.
Folks. All right, but that's all right. Because you did it and you stay consistent. There's some people that'll make $2,500 in a year and be mad and complain and give up. What was your biggest year?
I would say 22. After I got my coach.
Yeah. And so what was one big lesson that you learned from that from the first year?
Strategy. That was the thing. I didn't have no strategy to what I was doing.
Yeah.
So when you don't have no strategy, you can't make no money.
Yeah.
So after I got my coach now.
Yeah.
She came and audited my spa for me, and she told me what to do. And I did it.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yes.
But guess what? You got to keep doing it.
Yes.
You got to keep going, You can't stop.
Yeah.
When you stop, it's like it's like a fight to get back in again. So it's like, once you got the strategy, you got to stay on top of it.
Yes.
You got to stay on top of it because it's hard to get back in again.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's always new things.
Yes.
You're constantly learning.
Yes.
You're always going to learn. It's always something new. It's always a new service, a new strategy, a new marketing it's always something. So you got to stay on top of it.
I love that. If you can say one thing to a aesthetic professional that might be on the edge of giving up, look in this camera and say it to them.
Well, like I tell my friends, keep going. The race is not over yet. Just because you're having a dull moment at this time, get back into it. things can change overnight. Things can change tomorrow. Things can change in a year, but you just got to keep going. If you stop, it's going to be too hard to try to get back in, but just have more confidence, have more patience with yourself, and take it slow, guys. You'll get there.
I love it. So tell us about your product. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you gave me your product before in a
Did you use it?
In a bag.
Yes.
I remember.
That was 2022, I think.
Yeah,
at the expo.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I took a picture
you made
with you.
Sure I had
yes,
it.
I did.
Yes. So tell us about your product.
This is my baby here. Mystery Spray 3-in-1.
Yes.
It takes off your makeup, it tones your face, and it refreshes your skin. So I made this product because there was a product that I was buying from another company. It was like $35, and I didn't have $35 at the time. So I looked on the back of it, and I found 3 ingredients on there that I knew that I could go to the store, Whole Food store, whatever, and buy and make it myself. So I made it because I had a client. So I made it. I sprayed it on her face one day after I, cleansed her face and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, this smells so good. What is it?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a toner, just random."
Yes.
Not giving it no kind of love. "Oh, it's just a toner." She's like, "Oh, I like it. I want some." I said, "Well, I don't sell it." Right?
Yes.
Mindset. I said, I don't sell this. She's like, "Well, can you make me some because I want to buy it?" So I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
I made it for her, sold it to her for $10, plain, no label and nothing on it. And from then she kept buying it.
I would.
Kept buying it. And so when I had another friend of mine, same thing. I sprayed it one day. She like, "Oh, girl, this smells good, Tanya. I want some." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll make you some." Back then I made them in 8-ounce bottles. Too big, too long to sell, too long to get rid of. So then she still want an 8-ounce. So she bought my last 6 bottles. She was like, "Oh, I love this." Her whole family use it. Her husband, her kids, herself too. And so then I think it was 23. I was like, I need to get some labels. I got a lot of products, but this is my baby. So I got some professional labels made. Took a long time. This person making a label, I finally found somebody that can make me a label. I liked it. And I said, I'm gonna put these on the bottles and I'm gonna start selling it. So this is my product that I go around and I give away for free.
Yes.
I give it value, giving it away for free. And I love it. I use it.
When you give it away for free, what are you collecting in return?
Well, back then, nothing. But now I collect, they go on my text list. I have a text list. They go into my text list and stuff like that. So anything that if I'm having a promotion or any of my products, I send them a little message and stuff like that. But back then I was just, here you go, here you go.
So when you send them a message, what happens after that?
After I send them the message, there's a link. Like with a code and everything, like a percentage code, they could go ahead and purchase and then they get a percentage off.
Okay. So how long before somebody could see a result using it?
Oh, right away.
Okay. So when you give it away, why not give them a personally specialized call 3 days later, 4 days later?
Now I do. That's what I'm saying. Before I didn't do
Not text.
Oh, no.
A personal call.
Oh, call. Okay. I'll call them.
It's a difference.
It is.
And they can say like, "Oh my gosh, this was amazing." And on that call, what if you sold them a monthly subscription to continue to get it? Maybe it's a bigger bottle. Maybe how much is that bottle if you sold it?
$25.
All right. What about if they get a bigger size where you can sell it for $60 a month, $75 a month? It's a monthly subscription. Maybe you create a kit that's $99 a month.
I like that, but I don't think I want it any bigger than this.
Well, it can be a pack. Yeah. It can be a combo. It could be a bundle. It can be anything. It don't have to be a different size bottle, but it can be 2 bottles plus a different product for $99.
Now you're talking. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is figure a way how to make this residual income. So you got a product. They like the product, but you got to communicate with them instantly other than via text message sending me a link to buy. Because your conversion rates would be more stronger if you or somebody on your team did the call 72 hours later. And even if they didn't use it, now you hold them to use it. So, okay, yeah, I got it, but I didn't use it yet. All right, well, I want you to do is for the next 3 days, I want you to use it. And I'm going to call you back to see how was it for you.
I like that.
Now, let's say they're on subscription for 12 months. That's an extra $100 a month. Let's just say you did 1,000 people? Okay, what about if I say 10,000 people built up? Now you can use your list deeper. You can use everything better. I'm done. I'm sorry. I could keep going all day.
Yes, because it's in you.
Yeah.
But I like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. For a moment, I put it to the back burner. I was like,
Yeah.
And then was one of my friends. She said, Tanya, what happened to your mystery spray? I don't see you posting about it anymore. I don't see you talking about it anymore. And I said, girl, but then I got to bring it back because I use it. I use my own stuff.
Yeah. You know what happens? Sometimes we be expecting something to pop quicker.
Yeah.
I remember back in probably 20. Was it 20? Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't 20. It was 2002. 2002, I went to the state fair, right? And when I went to the state fair, they was giving out this little bag, and it had this little bottle in it, and the bottle had 5 Hour on it. And I was like, what is that?
Oh, that's the energy drink.
5 Hour energy drink. Nobody knew what this was. They was giving it away for free in 2002. Now look at it. What happened was, we talking 22 years. I remember it clear as day, right? 22 years for it to pop. When we go look at Amazon, it took Jeff Bezos, what he did was sent out a letter to all of his investors and say, for the next 20 years, we're going to lose money. But in 20 years, we're going to be the biggest thing ever. I just need you to stay with me. So what happens is sometimes as a people, we give up too quick.
Yeah.
Ain't no reason to put nothing on the back burner. Ain't no reason to give up. The only thing to do is to go harder. It's like, all right, well, maybe change the model. Maybe go to more of a subscription model. Maybe go to a model where it's wholesaling or Madam C.J. Walker way, whatever way it may be, right? Think of a way to get it to the people, but be patient. Right now, even for us in the aesthetic world, we only serve aesthetic professionals, and we have a 10-year plan. So we're going to get our butt beat for the next 10 years, but we're going to stay consistent. And we're going to dominate. When you think of the king of content, matter of fact, when you think of medical aesthetics, you're going to think of the king of content.
Yes, now, yes. Oh, yeah.
100%. Because we're focused and we understand that it takes time. I already done committed 14 years to content creation. So I already know it takes time. I ain't in no rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm willing to take the sacrifices. And so that's what we have to do. That's mindset. All right, this product, it can help people and make people feel good. It works. Now I got to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, I love
like that. Thank you.
First,
Motivation.
I just want to thank you for showing up. You didn't have to jump on that flight. You didn't have to make it here. You made it here early. And you didn't make no excuses.
No, not done with that.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for having the courage to even open up your business, for making sure and nurturing your kids to teach them that they can be what they want to be. They can do entrepreneur. They can grow. They can pivot. It's okay.
Yeah.
But biggest all, I want to thank you for letting them know that they're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank you for coming out of your shell and letting the world hear you and knowing where you at in the world and taking control of who you are, internal and external. That's big.
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show. And I want you to know it is okay to start small. If you got to start in your mama's living room, start in the living room. If you got to go to a bedroom, start in the bedroom. But whatever you do, just get started. And don't look for tomorrow, because sometimes when you get to looking too far in the future and attempted to guess what it's going to be, you have what I call a Dr. Strange effect. And sometimes you always going to think about negative results and you're going to stop yourself. So don't do that. Use today's episode to know that you're beautiful, to keep going, to thrive, and understand you have the power to determine who you are. Nobody else do. And I want to thank you for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show. I'm Dontel Antonio, and I want you to make sure you share this episode with another aesthetic professional so they can keep thriving just like you.